Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How are you? Welcome back.
Good.
Welcome back.
Thanks
It
so
is
much for having me.
my pleasure. It's an awesome topic we'll be talking about with regards to food.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah,
Yes.
that's the best. It's food for enjoyment, food for healing, food for everything. So yeah, thank you for coming on board. It's been a while since we've had you, and we're honored again. And now we're going to talk about how food can help increase vibration and frequency, especially during this time. What do you think?
I think it's really important. I've been going on a reset myself the last what 3 or today's the fourth day that I've been just juicing. So yeah, food can reset your body, and it's so important to get into alignment and to high vibration as we're moving through so many new energies. Especially this month, we're to and
Yes.
a retrograde, and it affects your body. It does have an effect on your body as these light frequencies come in, as this new information comes in. You're going to want to upgrade your physical vessel so that it can be a container that contains more light codes and activates through the process. And we are also shedding so much, and I think food is such a very, very key component that we can't overlook. This is because we are physical. We're part of the physical world, and we need food to survive. We can't just survive on positive thoughts and meditation. I mean, there are monks that do that, but
They're on
for
a different level.
well, I think the difference is that they're in like a cave, you
Hmm.
know, um, far removed from anyone. And it's like the farther you get from humans, the less drama you're around, the easier it is for you to be light. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Being
good.
so we have like we're in this earthly realm down to the ground where the drama's happening. The world events are going on every day. It's another story, it's another episode, right?
Mhm.
And how do we manage that through the food we eat? We really want to stabilize our physical form as much as possible to hold our container. And food is such a vital component. Now you're an expert in this field.
Well, I learned a lot about nutrition back in the day, but it was only until I really when I met you and you started talking about frequency and energy, and it didn't really start to click into me until you introduced me to a lot more plant-based lifestyle. So that's when I noticed that a big change in me over the last 6 7 years was like when you introduced me to more of a plant-based lifestyle, and then not just eating plant-based but also eating clean, organic. And you were also talking about the energy, like that it's food that is alive. So maybe you could like to share it with our listeners, like what it
Mm-hmm.
means, like because you've been following this healthy lifestyle for quite a while, especially when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to energy, that is clean energy from the food that you eat.
Yeah, not all food is created equal. People know that. Food can be medicine, and certain foods like GMO, genetically modified foods with chemical hazards on them, Roundup Ready, can cause your health.
Hmm.
So it's not an equal opportunity here. It's very selective. For me, I I'm going to start a garden soon because I want to grow the food or source the food as close to me as possible, like as much as I can. Of course, I still like exotic fruits and things like that, right? But for example, you want to go to like farmers markets and get organic fruits and vegetables as much as possible. Um, if you know where your food source is coming from, that's like a safe way, and everything is like organic now, but we really don't know because we don't really know the source of it. it's a tough thing. I think at the end of the day, we're all gonna have to be like little farmers and like at least grow a few things on our own. Like maybe like lettuce or kale or
Yes.
tomatoes. Like, come on, like I know that we can all do this, and I'm saying that to myself too because I'm getting the mindset of creating a little mini garden for myself.
That's And have you noticed too, like when you eat something that is like we know where it came from, that it tastes so much better. And the people that grew, cultivated that food, that source, it's the type of, I guess they're infusing their energy as well into that.
It does, yeah. So, there's so many factors, like where your food is being grown. Like a lot of the quote unquote organic stuff is being grown like inside, like what are they called, Mike? They're like water. They're like
Oh,
these
the
containers.
hydroponics, yeah, hydroponics.
Yeah, hydroponics, where it's like they're not really getting the synthesis that's really natural.
Mm.
And so like is that really, I mean, yes, it's organic, but is it really natural anymore? Like what are, like, you know what I mean? So we're kind of going on a fine line of like what still has the nutrients, because does that still hold the same nutritional value? The earth quality makes such a difference too,
Yes, the soil.
because we have more chemicals in this world, and more chemtrails and things that are infusing our environment, with particles of pesticides and nanotoxins and nanoparticles and things like that. It really affects the quality of our earth. Now we get our nutrients from the earth, and that nutrients goes into the food, it absorbs it and it creates itself, and then we eat it. So we want it to be as close to home as possible. We want to really have really healthy soil, and that's why it all goes together in a circle. So, going back to what we were saying earlier, like it's important to try to get food that's sourced close to home, or that you can verify that's organic. Not all food is created equal. Like I noticed, like, tomatoes are so shady.
Yes.
They're not tomatoes. Like, when did I start eating cardboard that looks like tomatoes? I mean, I'm trying to think, like, it's hard to remember the last time I really enjoyed a succulent tomato. Like, tomatoes are so juicy
Yes.
and delicious, and oh my gosh, they just burst in your mouth, and oh,
It's
there's so
different.
much.
I remember, like, I
Yeah.
totally relate. Like when I was growing up in the Philippines, I remember eating the sweetness of tomatoes that we used to have in our backyard garden. And then here, when you go to like a regular grocery store, it's it's like dead food. Really, it's like bland. Like hardly any flavor or taste. And I don't know if there's any nutrients there left.
Yeah, really, really, truly, because you're like, yeah, okay, I just bought some organic tomatoes, but they taste like rubber and like, cardboard.
Mm.
And
Same.
I'm not sure how this can bring me nutritional. And they're dry. They're not
Yes.
like juicy. They're like, and then when you slice them open, they are like white and like red. Like they don't look like juicy. Remember, tomatoes used to look really, really red
Yeah,
inside and be bursting with juices.
that's so
Like,
true.
so, and then watermelons, like I had to throw watermelon away the other day because I opened it up and then ate it. I'm like, why does it taste like cardboard again?
Hmm.
I was like, I remember the flavors that used to burst in my mouth when I ate a watermelon. And it's like, I feel like food has slowly lost its flavor and its essence. And, it's a huge contribution to why a lot of people are probably have malnutrition going on, which is hard to fathom in a first world country,
Yes.
that people are not getting the nutrients they need from food. Um, but it's very common, and so we're turning to supplements more and more. But yeah, I think it's just so important. Like right now, I'm doing a reset with my body. It was an accidental reset where basically this I just got kind of knocked over, and I was sort of forced to do this little cleanse that I've been planning for a long
Tell
time.
us more about it. I'm really curious to hear about what you're doing with that.
Yeah, so so on Friday I just stopped eating food. I just wasn't feeling very great, and my body literally was like, I don't want any food. Don't give me food. So I was like, okay. I just drank liquids, and then I got a bunch of juices, and I've been juicing, and then I've been creating like these grapefruit smoothies. So you put a grapefruit
Mhm.
in a blender with a lemon, and you put salt in it. Oh my gosh, they're so refreshing and delicious, and like filling. I don't even want food, you know?
And I'm sure it's cleansing too.
It's
Oh, definitely.
cleansing. Yeah, my body wanted to almost like cleanse itself. And I just feel that. Like, I feel like I'm doing a mini detox and my body is like insisting on it. But I'm really happy because guess what? I haven't eaten all day and I have so much mental clarity. I feel better than I did last week. And brain fog is something that creeps up on me, sometimes.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's like my body wants to just like restabilize itself by fasting, if that makes any sense. And
Oh,
like,
it's
yeah, fasting has so many benefits, but it's not really fasting. I'm fasting on liquids.
So many people are actually getting into what they call these intermittent, 3 day cleanses, fasting. I think there's like a lot of people just like yourself and myself too that are looking for ways to just detox and cleanse ourselves from the it's just like you say, a purging of all the
Mhm.
toxins that have been built up in our cells, in our cellular levels. So that's great that you're doing that. um, Tell us more about what type of food that I mean what other um, fruits and vegetables that you incorporate into your cleanse aside from the
Oh
grapefruit
yeah.
and the lemon.
So I mean, I'm open for all like fruits to blend, but mostly pineapple. So I'm going for like a lot more citrusy fruits right now because I think
Mhm.
when you're doing a cleanse, if at least my body is telling me and it's really working well that it wants a citrusy cleanse because it helps to alkalinize my track, my whole entire track. Um, and alkalinize my body, the pH balance, like with more
Yes.
alkalinized. It just feels that way. And so I've been craving like, yeah, grapefruit, lemon, pineapple. Um, I did incorporate a little bit of mango and what else did I do? Um, I can't remember now, but I just blended it all together and just made like these very liquid, almost like juices.
Mhm.
And
How much of it were you
I have like about three of those a day, but I think
Mhm.
I think people could have more.
Did you find, like you said, like the cleansing and the purging? Because I know when people go too fast, aside from the internal cleansing, it also helps the skin uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the hair and uh, basically to be more to restore its glow. So have you felt it from the cleansing that you've been doing?
I've been just more. I haven't really been like looking at the mirror lately at all. I've just been like, what up? So I'm just wearing a bun, and I do not. I just want to because at first it was very difficult, like with my body. At first, my body was just like, "Rah, like we want to get rid of all these toxins right now." And I was just like, whoa, I was getting headaches. Like, I mean, the headaches put me out. Like, I didn't want to move. My head was pounding. I'm not scared, trying to scare anybody, but,
Hmm.
for me personally, and the kind of detox I was going through, and probably all the accumulation of toxins I needed to release, I had that effect, for 2 days, and then yesterday got better, and then today I woke up and I was like, holy moly! I can't remember the last time I felt this good. Like just feeling like, whoa, my head feels crystal clear. This is so incredible, and just a feeling overall of well-being. So the glow is from within.
Good. How long are you planning to keep this cleanse going? Because I know some people go through like 14-day cleanse, like they call it a master cleanse or
Mm-hmm.
cleanse. There's those that do a once a week cleanse. Are you planning to keep on doing this for a few more days?
I might, yeah. I'm just my body is just so intelligent right now, and it's just telling me what it wants. It's like it's demanding what it wants. I'm like, okay, you're way smarter than me, so I'm gonna listen to you. How about that? For once in my life, I'll listen to you. So my body is navigating me through the process, and I'm listening to the intuition of my own body. And I think I might do this for a few more days, and then I'm going to start to taper off into, like eating a banana, and then eating avocado, and then eating a salad, that kind of a thing. But it's important to listen to your body through the process. If you feel you can't bear it and it's unbearable, don't do that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just you have to trust and honor your own body. No one's gonna know it better than you. And I think that's where we need to give our respect back as to our own inner intelligence, to our body. And then I do know for sure that after I do this cleanse, I'm going to start to do it once a week, like no brainer. I've decided that I think on Tuesdays I'm gonna do a cleanse where I don't eat anything. It's just gonna be like liquids, like juices.
Mm-hmm. Are you using like a juicing machine or just blending it all together?
Yeah, I have like this nutritional bullet blending machine, and it works great.
Would you say that with what you're doing now, that you're eating more plant-based, do you miss like animal-based type of foods once in a while?
Um,
Do you know?
yeah, yeah, I do. I I guess, so there's some part of me that is a carnivore for sure. I'm not gonna lie, it's there, ever since I was a little kid, like I did, maybe it's my blood type, but I did want red meat. So that is the one thing that I do crave,
Yes.
especially during like my menstrual cycles and things like that. But I think I've been supplementing with like vitamin B, because I think sometimes like vitamin B helps with that, right? Um,
Yes.
and eating more greens and things like that. And then I think what it really comes down to is like more protein for me, because I think adding I'm gonna be doing more like smoothies with protein supplements. And Mike, you're like the king of like smoothies, and all of the best supplements. Like you should put a little list below,
I know I've been
like
trying
your
to
favorites.
incorporate
What's
it.
that?
I've been trying to incorporate more and then showing more to people about it. Because I'm
Yeah.
finding when I make these smoothies, it just comes to me intuitively too, like you're saying, like my body's telling me, okay, it's trying, hey, try and put this fruit in here, try put this vegetable in here. Oh, try let's add some some spirulina in here.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find, it's like it's kind of like a meditative process for me when I'm putting all these together. And I
Mm-hmm.
find that when I ingest these foods, that it makes it easier for me to just feel more relaxed and peace of mind.
Mm. Yeah. That's you know what? That's such a great way to put it, because that's exactly what I thought this morning, is that this is my fourth day of reset and allowing my body to just reset itself naturally. And I
Hmm.
feel such an ease and a peace of mind and a clarity. And it's almost like a meditative feeling. It's
That's so
interesting.
great to hear. It gives me goosebumps just hearing you say that, because like I was having a conversation earlier with one of my old college classmates, and I was surprised that he is actually making. He has his own backyard garden now here somewhere in LA, and he's making his own pesto. And he's just like, I have to keep away the rabbits and the squirrels because they're getting my organic food. And like, I can't believe you used to be a carnivore and now you've got this and you're tending to a garden and we're talking. So it's great to hear that people are getting more into realizing our connection with food and how it helps us balance and keep connected to the universe and our planet
Mm.
especially.
We are made of life force, food is prana. Like food, especially fresh, and I mean like alive. When you're eating it, if it's crunching and it's like it has that aliveness, you're eating that,
Mhm.
which is different than like dead animals. Sorry,
Yeah.
like that's already the cheese gone. You know what I'm saying? um as much as I love, I have loved, you know those moments, those rare moments that I've had
Hmm.
red meat, and I'm like, oh, it's so good. But really, 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 what makes me feel even better is when I'm crunching on veggies and eating raw food. Like raw food is incredible because it has so much protein, the cashews and the nuts, and they
Yes.
make it so creamy, and it just hits the spot. You don't feel like you're missing out on anything.
Do you have like a favorite combination of like salads, like what you put in there, like for listeners, maybe you can share with us?
Yeah, well, I think salads are the funnest because you can play with them as much as you want. But you want to get a salad that's I like to get salads that are made out of like kale. And first you
Hmm.
have to make that base, and you have to sort of crunch it up on its own and make it really soft and delicious. And then you can mix other things with that. So that can be a great base. And then I love to add sprouts because that those are
Yeah.
really, really good for you. You know, they have so much life force energy in them, and they're so good for you, and great fiber. Or like, you can even make your own sprouts, like mung bean sprouts. Like put them in a jar. Have you ever made your own sprouts before?
I remember as a kid growing them, but that'd be a great time to revisit and
Yeah. Okay,
bring
because
back.
they're delicious. And then of course I can't live without avocado. Avocado is the center of my universe. Me and avocado are like we're one.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I mean, make my own, guacamole, or just use that instead of butter.
Oh
Like
yeah.
as a spread. Put it on and add it to the salads, like you said. So
Mm-hmm.
avocado,
Avocado.
make.
And then you want to add kimchi because again, kimchi, a lot of us who live in America, because of the wheat and stuff like that, our guts
Mhm.
are tore up. So we got to do that repair work, y'all. And kimchi,
Yes.
which is like a living, it's a living fermented. The
Hmm.
fermented food can really heal your gut. So I love to pile on the kimchi. It just tastes so good. You can do cabbage kimchi. There's all kinds of kimchi you can do.
Yes, I
But
think I've had the zucchini
oh,
kimchi.
I mean, all of it's
Yeah.
incredible. It's incredible for you. If you want beautiful skin, like
Mm.
if you have like acne or something like that, eat kimchi because what you're really needing is probiotics in your stomach. You're needing that live culture, that healthy
Yes.
culture, and that helps everything in your whole entire system. So it's a great immune booster. I also love like finely cut carrots because they're so pretty. They just add
Hmm.
that beautiful orange color. And then I can't live without beets. I love beets. If it's like
Oh,
shredded or if you
yes.
boil them and cut them up. I actually like boiled beets. They're so good.
Oh,
Um,
excellent.
how
Excellent for
about
the liver.
Oh yeah, so 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 good. I've been doing beet juices. That's what I had, for my cleanse too. I had like some beet juices, and it gives you a lot of energy, actually.
Oh yeah, because once you cleanse your liver, I mean it releases all the toxins. So beets are also a magical vegetable, that's for sure. And beet
Mm.
juice, yeah, I know. And the fermented foods, everything is just. I mean, our planet is so smart. Mother Gaia is so smart that
Oh
you know
yeah,
provides us with the healing and detoxing and
I
cleansing
know. It's so
instead of the
sweet.
drugs.
It's so beautiful. I want to become an herbologist. Like I might take a class because yeah, when you understand that we were set up to win,
Mhm.
we're set up with everything that we need to start utilizing the things that are here for us. and maximizing their potential into our diet and creating more well-being within ourselves. But we need to educate ourselves because we're not really in the know. We never learned. It wasn't an important part of our teaching or our culture to learn the fine details about food. We sort of just ate what was shoved in front of us, which was like usually like white sandwiches, right? That's what I
Yes,
remember when I was a kid.
highly refined.
Highly refined, like everything that's bad for you, Cheez-Its, I don't know, But I remember like in school, like I was the weird kid who had the sprouted bread with like my mom would put like avocado and then like almond butter sandwiches. And then she would put like, I don't know, just like make really bizarre lunches for me. And get with like a side of yams or something like that. And I remember like at like lunchtime, I would be like so envious of all the kids because they had all these like crunchy, like yummy treats and all of these incredible things that I thought I was really missing out on. And I would like play bets with people just so I could win their lunches or trade their lunches. Like you can have mine and I'll have yours because I want to eat this toxic food because that's what everyone else is doing, And
What's funny? It's so funny to
I
hear
know.
that.
We always want what we can't have. It's horrible. Until you get like old and wise enough to realize, holy moly, my mom was always right. See, she was never ever wrong. I was always trying to fit the mold, I was always trying to break out and like, my mom is like an alchemist. She's a shaman and a
Yes.
healer and she knows, like she's an herbalist, she uses herbs from the Amazon to cure. And so yeah, I was like, oh, whatever. When something's so close to you and you're just like, I don't want that. I want to be cool and I want to fit in and I want to eat these white cheesy sandwiches that have no nutritional value, and then I want to grow up and do other things that are not good for me.
Well, it's come full circle now. A lot more people are getting back to what are actually going back to eat what.
We're going back to Eden, and you know what? I remember my mom had a book, Garden of Eden.
Mhm.
It was literally the book. And so yeah, and so she is that representation of that indigenous wise woman, and I'm coming back to her going, holy moly, you were right about everything. You were right about everything. And she's been a vegetarian her whole life. You know, she's been a vegetarian, practicing meditation, 100% about that lifestyle. And it's incredible her discipline because it takes incredible discipline to be healthy. She carries her own food with her wherever she goes. She's like, I'm not going to eat out. I don't want to eat out. I don't like eating at restaurants because I know what they're giving me is not good. It doesn't feel right. Even if they said it's an organic restaurant, sometimes it still doesn't feel good, And she also says like that the people who make your food, it's like if the cooks are filled with like they're bitching and moaning about their life and they're making your food and then you eat it.
That is so true. I mean, that's what I learned. I remember the most from you and your mom about that, about how the transference of energy to the food
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
affects, and also, like if we're thankful for the food. Those
Oh,
key things that that I've learned from you and your mom was about that. So yeah, can you expand a little bit more about that, like about the gratitude with food
oh
and
yeah.
transference of energy and how like when food made with love really makes a big difference.
It makes such a difference, maybe you don't have like organic food. Maybe your food is not, right? But say the person who made it like loves you and really wants you to they made this food because they want you to be healthy and they love you and they're making it with intention. And it always comes back to intention. That intention, we are transferring energy through our hands, through our intention. You're going to eat that intention. So you're going to get the food, and guess what? It's actually going to be healthier for you. It
Mm.
will, because that love like almost saturates it with this light, with this energy. It emanates. You're going to eat that information. We are all informational beings. We're actually eating information all the time. You know, food is information too. And so the person who's prepping and making it for you is going to transfer their information. And so, you know, I used to love eating out all the time. But more and more I realize like I really like eating at home because I feel like I know what I'm eating and I know my intention when I make it, you know, is that I want to be healthy and I'm grateful. And then putting so much gratitude, like, thank you for this food. Thank you to Mother Earth, and bless Mother Earth and bless the ground and bless the sky. You know, blessings, because it's a privilege to be able to eat, you know. Um, and it's such a privilege that we can take for granted just because we have so much food, you know, in our country and where we are, that we don't understand that some people don't have access to food the way that we do. We can be picky and be like, I'm going to be on a gluten-free diet. I'm going paleo, you know, and some people are just like, just give me anything, you know? So we are so fortunate, and we should never take that for granted. My dad was on the extreme end of it. He'd make me join the clean plate club growing up. You know, he'd be like, there are people in Africa that I can't eat right now, and you better eat everything on your plate. And that's a little too on the other
Well,
side of it.
I would get that guilt trip back then too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I mean,
starving children in other parts of the world.
yeah, exactly. So, but you want to eat with gratitude, and when you do, you're not going to overeat because you're going to be more mindful. So grateful. This is delicious. Every bite's going to taste more delicious because when you eat with more conscious awareness and you're chewing, and you don't want to watch TV when you're eating, okay? You don't want to have the radio blasting. You don't want to have two people fighting in front of you. You don't want to have a bunch of nonsense going on. It's vital. When you sit down to eat, that's important that you take that time for that moment. It's a sacred time. Eating is sacred. You know, it's a sacred act. You're giving to your body, you're giving to yourself. So why would you clutter that with toxic information? Because remember, like I said, it's all information. When you're doing that, you're taking in the information around you and also eating that as well. We're consuming our environment as well as our food. So I don't eat with anything on, no TV. I don't want to hear anything. Like, it's time to be silent. If you're with people, have conversations with them, enjoy them, you know? Like, it's also a great thing to, like, to celebrate when you're together. But so many times, like, you go to restaurants and you see people, and like the whole family's looking at their phone, you know? Um, and also eating can bring you together closer. It should be an intimacy. Like, eating together is like a great time. It's a celebration. Like, here you and I are, and we both have food on our plate, and isn't this incredible? We're together, you know, in whatever capacity. So I think that we could take this eating to a different level of respect, you know.
Hmm.
And I think it will affect our health in a much greater way too, because we all have digestive issues.
Oh yeah, it's taken several years for me to heal my gut issues from all the crap that I was eating back when I was a kid. Now I'm using food to heal, and I've learned a lot from many different people, including yourself and your mom. And one thing is about realizing that all of this, like you said, it's energy, it's information. It's by providing the right information inside our bodies, then it allows us to, our auras to be cleaner, right?
Hmm.
Uh, More connected to the universe, really.
It's so true. It's so true, Mike, what you just said about being more connected. Really, I think that's what we want. We live in a world that is very disconnected and discombobulated on the outside. So we need to find that connection inside of ourselves, because I think that's when we get thrown off and hit hard, is when we're not connected to source, and source is food too. Source is everything, right? And so when we connect back to that source within ourselves, and what we put on our plates is going to affect us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. I had that great sense of clarity this morning, and I don't think I'd have it if I didn't do this, right?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that experience with us, because it's something that more people would like to have solutions, because instead of like taking all these energy drinks or taking these pills to wake up or to go to sleep, you're using food,
Yeah, I
in
am.
nature, to really open yourself up and dump the junk, basically.
Exactly. I mean, that's so true. And it's interesting because like how much I love coffee. Like we both love
I
coffee.
know.
I know, like I thought I could never live one day without coffee, and I haven't had coffee for 4 days, but I didn't need it, and it's such a weird feeling. It's not that I don't want it, or I might not go back to it, but I'm just saying like the fact that I had that, just the freedom, just the freedom to be like, okay, I didn't even think about it because I was just doing this cleanse, but then I stopped and thought about it today, like, oh my gosh, I'm functioning today and I didn't haven't had coffee. Like this is, I mean, it's wild. Because like coffee is such an important part of my life, but it's just an example because I didn't even feel awake, unless I had like 2 cups of coffee. And then I realized that I could feel awake. And it's just showing me that like sometimes we just need to reset our body with the right foods and give it the time to reset. Um, and then it will naturally jumpstart itself for us.
Yeah, if you could share with the audience before we go, like what would be like your top five or top 10 favorite foods that are good for cleansing and healing and all that.
Well, if you're thinking about cleansing, lemon is number one because lemon, we collect this thing called ama, which is like this mucus like substance that collects in our gut, and you can notice it when you wake up in the morning on your tongue.
Mm,
But if you get a big collection of it, it causes distortion disease because it accumulates too much. So you don't want to have too much of it, but most people have far too much in their gut. And then what happens is you can't digest, nutrients because you have a layer of this ama on the side of your gut, right? So for me, lemon is really vital, and I can't say like I have not been taking as much lemon as I should, but I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember why that's like the most important thing. Whether it be like lemon water in the morning, hot lemon water. Okay, so you just make hot water and you add one whole lemon, you just squeeze it, and you can put a little bit of honey. That is
okay.
great. And then you can also put it in the blender with a little bit of salt and water and drink it. Okay, that's cleansing and it's delicious. The salt neutralizes the sourness and oh my gosh, it actually, your body loves it. It's alkaline, it's going to give you a high pH balance. Um, the other thing I would suggest is ginger. Okay, we're talking about detoxing. Ginger is powerful. Never underestimate the power of ginger. It looks innocent, but oh boy, it does wonders. I mean, I like to use ginger and cut it up. I That's what I've been drinking, sipping on this, these few days, making really as strong as you possibly can, like make it go all the way down and then put more water in and just like make it really 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 thick gingery, and then you add you can add lemon or you could add honey. I like to put a little bit of honey in it, and it's I can feel it like a reaction, a positive reaction. It just feels like it's soothing. Actually, it's like putting a coating of soothingness to my entire intestinal tract. It feels good and it's very cleansing and healing, and it's just so good for you. Um, Another thing would be grapefruit. You know, if you just want to eat grapefruit, like incorporate a grapefruit a day, whether you eat it or you want to blend it. You can just put one in a blender, add some water, again, put some salt, and it tastes incredible. So good. Um, and then the other one would be beets because like we said earlier, beets are
Yes.
so good. I get so much energy from beets. Like you wouldn't think about beets and energy, right? But I notice when I drink beet juice, when I eat beets, I feel a natural, energy from it, and it's sustaining, and I don't have any like crash from it. And I also know that it's like helping me to detox, so that's incredible. Can't go wrong with that.
Wow.
Yeah. Simple little things you can incorporate into your diet, but it's about consistency, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's about consistency, and because people try and do everything in one fell swoop. Just be gentle with yourself. Introduce it bit by bit.
Mm-hmm.
You've given us some great information and tips on how you've been doing, a detox and fasting at the same time, and that
Mm-hmm.
really helps a lot of people. So we really appreciate you coming on today, Rada, and share us about food and frequency, vibration, cleansing, and detoxing. And we look forward to
Oh my God.
further discussion with food with another episode. So yes,
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Mike. But there's one thing else I have to say.
yes,
Okay, spirulina, spirulina,
yes.
spirulina, spirulina. How could I forget my favorite thing in the world? Okay, I have to tell you, spirulina. I actually haven't been taking it during my cleanse, but I'm going to incorporate it big time as soon as I'm done. Um, it is God's gift to us.
Power back.
It's worth its weight in gold. I mean, it just does wonders for your body. It energizes you naturally. It alkalinizes you. Um, I mean, don't you love
Oh
spirulina?
yes, I take it daily too, either in powder form or tablets, and yeah, like I said, can't get enough of it, and it's like
Can't
I
get
said,
enough.
worth its weight in gold. So we've got some really good, top five energizing, cleansing, and detoxing foods that will really help our listeners just incorporate something healthier and simple into their lives. So, wow.
Yay.
Hey, so thank you so much for coming on board today. It's been a pleasure, always an honor to have you here with us on I Am Enough. Radha, thank you so much. And we will
Thank you.
be connecting again in a future episode.
All right, we'll have a beautiful one and so much love to you all.
Thank you. Bye bye.